Welcome to Freezer Milk Podcast. I'm your host, Bridget, along with my husband, Chris. Weekly, we talk about being parents, what happened that week. It's basically our therapy session to vent out everything that we went through. We are boy parents. We have 3 boys, Enzo, Rhett, and Arlo. And if you'd like to get to know us a little bit better, you can check out our website, freezermilk.com, or follow us on Instagram at Freezer Milk Podcast. We also have YouTube and TikTok, Freezer Milk. Thanks so much for listening, and we hope you enjoy.
Welcome back. beat you to it.
I was going to try to say it at the same time as you.
It didn't pan out.
It didn't pan out.
Too quick for you.
Too quick.
Anyway, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Today's podcast.
It's been a little while.
Yeah.
I've been adjusting to our au pair. She's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Kids are adjusting to being home.
Yeah, we're starting to get a little bit more free time.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. I actually exercised 3 days last week.
So proud of you.
Right? And I exercised today.
Worked on land business. We've gone on dates.
Been on dates. We've been able to do things that we haven't been able to do for probably a year.
Or more. Yeah.
A little more.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm definitely enjoying it. I think she's really enjoying it too. So that's good. I took her out to get some Mexican food and Corona-ritas.
She didn't know what Corona-ritas were.
Yeah. So I took her out to do that last night.
She said she's got a new favorite now. Corona-ritas.
They're so yummy. What else has been going on?
Oh, man. We're on our 2 months with Enzo, and we've been doing a lot with him. He's been spending some time at your aunt's house, and he spent some last weekend. He did a sleepover at my sister's house.
Mm-hmm.
We went out there for dinner to pick him up.
It's been nice that he's been able to have sleepovers at people's houses. Yeah,
and I've had this, I've been having this conversation with me. He's just so I think he's burnt out, with the little ones.
Yeah.
So he's kind of annoyed by them because there's such an age gap, right?
And they're just a lot.
They are, and they're annoying. They can be annoying. Arlo's fine, but Arlo climbs all over him, and he doesn't.
Arlo's loud now.
Arlo's very loud. He's transitioning from a baby to toddler.
Mm-hmm.
And Rhett is obviously a toddler, but we were talking about it this morning, and we were watching him. We were both looking at him. We're like, man, he's transitioning from a toddler to a kid. It's a blink of an eye.
Goes so fast.
But Enzo was just saying that he likes to be around kids his age. I think he's a little, at his dad's house, he's the only kid, and then he's got a bunch of dogs and a bird. And then here he comes here, and he's constantly, all 3 of them are fighting for attention. There's only 2 of us, so it's, the 2 months of Enzo not necessarily wanting to be here. But we're coming up to the back end of it. So.
Yeah, I think part of him likes it, and then part of him's it's interesting. So for school right now, he has to write his teacher graded assignment is on the place in your family and being an only child versus a child that has siblings.
Yeah.
And I was like, you get to provide a really unique perspective because half of the year you're an only child and half of the year you have siblings.
Yeah.
And so you don't do 6 months at a time, you do 2 and 2, but you get to provide a perspective that most people can't as far as just what that's like to switch back and forth. And he kind of wrote out pros and cons of being an only child is you get more attention, but you get less independence.
Yeah, that's true.
And then having siblings, you get less attention, but you have more independence. And you have someone to play with. Whereas when you're an only child, you don't have someone to play with, but you also don't have someone annoying you.
I think he, when he's gone though, he'll probably go a month, and then he probably starts to miss them a little bit.
Yeah.
I think as Rhett gets older, becomes more of a kid that can play video games or
just play with him.
Play with him in general. I think he'll take to that. But again, there's still a 6 year it's there. So that's hard. But I think later in life, as they become if they get out of teens and coming into adults, they'll probably have a good relationship.
It's going to be cool to see, because I think up until about Rhett being 23, 24, it's going to feel like a larger age gap. But then when he's 23, 24 and Enzo's 29, 30, it won't seem as much of a gap probably, because they'll both kind of be adulthood at that point. And it won't seem like it's this huge age gap. But I think it'll be a very apparent age gap when Rhett's like 10 and Enzo's 16 and wants absolutely nothing to do with his younger brother.
Because, I mean, Rhett's still a kid.
Mm-hmm. It would be like a 16-year-old now trying to like hang out with Enzo.
Yeah.
Or a 15-year-old. They'd just be like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, you're little.
Yeah, so he's been really lucky the past few weekends. He's been able to spend time with kids his age and
he's supposed to have another sleepover this weekend too.
have some independent time, and then he goes back to Phoenix.
Yeah.
And he's gone for 2 months.
What was it? We were talking to our au pair about how quiet it gets when he's not in the house, like over the weekend. Like you wouldn't think it, but like as you know, he brings volume to the home.
Another voice in the house.
That's another voice in the house, and somebody somebody else competing for attention.
He runs around with Rhett a lot, and like they like run back and forth on the second floor. And so when we're on the first floor working in our office, it's like a herd of elephants running around.
Well, I mean, like Enzo's quite a bit heavier than Rhett. So,
Well, yeah, he's 9.
I know, but when he like runs, it's like do 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 do, and like you can hear little pitter patters when Rhett runs across the floor.
Yeah.
You can't really hear, it's not like vibration.
Yeah.
In our office being on the first floor, right underneath this wood floor on the second floor, it makes it like it just amplifies the sound.
It does. It does.
But
Yeah, it's been an adjustment. Au pair's been with us for 2 weeks technically, but watching the kids for a week.
Yeah, this is her second week watching kids.
And the first week was an adjustment. Rhett, he struggled with it because he knew that we were home, and he would stand up at the second floor landing and just scream.
Because we have like a baby gate there.
Yeah, because I mean, and she was, her being new to the family really and the structure and everything, didn't really understand how to handle it. And honestly, we don't know necessarily.
But he gets that way.
We don't know what to do, because if I can just keep going up there to try and console him, every time I try to turn around and go back downstairs, it just
Starts over again.
Yeah, it pisses him off. So we're right back to square one. So last week was a little rough. He's been doing much better this week, I think.
Yeah, and if you remember, like when he started daycare, it took him weeks to adjust to like out here when we moved out here. Not so much in Arizona. Apparently I didn't sleep enough. Big yawn. Not so much in Arizona, but out here, it took him a while to adjust because it was like new home, new environment, new childcare routine. And it's kind of similar. Like we now have an additional person living in our house. And so that makes it like a new environment, and it's a new childcare routine. Like, and he knows we're home, but this week's definitely been better already. So it's kind of cool to see like that shift and adjustment.
Yeah. And it's nice because, it actually like today at lunchtime, I had a few minutes, so I decided to go up and hang with him and read him some books.
Yeah.
I was like, it's nice to be able to do that and not feel like I'm working, trying to watch him, and I'm stressed out. And we were just talking about it that, I've struggled with my anger, and we talked about it on our last episode, and I get angry, and I've noticed over the past at least week and a half that I haven't been getting as short fused with him.
Yeah.
I actually have the patience for him. And that's a nice adjustment because I was kind of getting sick and tired of myself.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah. But I haven't been snappy at him.
I know, it's amazing. I just having the time to feel super productive in your workday. Him not being cranky, trying to go to daycare, trying to get picked up from daycare, screaming in the 15-second car ride to and from daycare. I think all of that kind of helps.
Uh-huh.
So it's really nice. Have you also noticed, knock on wood, he doesn't have a runny nose?
No, I'm the one that actually has a cough, and none of the kids are sick.
No,
neither one of them have.
Like he's only been out of daycare for like 2 weeks, but
he doesn't have a runny nose, doesn't have a cough. Baby doesn't have a runny nose, doesn't have a cough.
It like cleared up so quick. It's so crazy that it impacts them that much.
Well, that's not even just the physical, the financial aspect it took. I mean, we were just talking about that. We had to file taxes, and you're saying that just out here is what we've been here for 8 months.
Only looking at 2023 though. It was July through December. We spent over $15,000 in childcare.
In childcare, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's expensive childcare.
It's very expensive, and then we had one more that was going to start needing it soon. So I don't know. There has been, so far, we're only a week and a half into this, but so far there's been a lot more pros than cons.
Oh gosh, yeah. I think we got really lucky though. Like our au pair is so sweet.
Yes. And she's very patient with him. It can be a lot. Like we feel bad because we're like, you know, we get it. Like we know he's a lot, but he's our kid, right? So we know he's a pain in the ass. So we always feel bad when he gets extra.
Oh my gosh, he is upset with her. She wanted some like muffins, so we got her some like corn muffins from Costco. The dude is obsessed with them, and every day I'm like, no, those are hers, and he's like, please, and I'm like, no, bud. And then she comes downstairs in the morning to start her day with him, and he walks up to her and he's like, please, and he says, hummus. And I'm like,
it's not hummus, bro.
You mean muffin? He's like, yeah, please, muffin, hummus. I'm like, it's not hummus. And he'll like just keep asking her and like be like the cute puppy dog, like begging.
And eventually she caves.
Yeah, 100% caves every time. She's like, okay, we'll share one. And he's like, thank you.
And then by the time he eats all his, he's like, more.
Oh yeah, he's like, and he like draws out the please word. It's so funny.
It's so interesting because he snacks a lot. He doesn't eat like full meals, like at like lunch and dinner and breakfast. He'll just snack.
Typical toddler.
But he's so like lean, right? And then he's just got a belly.
A big old Buddha belly.
It's like he drinks nothing but beer.
Right.
And then Arlo's just a big chunkers. Like he's just.
They got away close to the same.
No. I was hard to believe that Arlo was what, 7th percentile?
Yeah.
Started falling off the charts.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's got to be pushing closer to the 100.
I'd be curious because he has his 12-month checkup a little bit late. He has it this week, so I'm curious to see
where he's at,
what percentile he's at in height and all.
He's at that stage now, like where he's such a goober. Like he's got like a bunch of random teeth growing in. He just looks goofy.
Yeah. He's got the random teeth growing in, and like we all know when baby's teeth first come in, they're all spaced weird and like just
because they're just meant to fall out
and just crazy looking.
But yeah, it's interesting
he has such a funny little personality now. Like he just cracks up at stuff, but he's so curious about how things work is what I've noticed.
Yeah.
But he's very big into like stacking and sorting and stacking. The dude climbs like he's been climbing his whole life. Literally, we have this like firehouse little like car tower thing. And I look over the other day and he's standing on it by the window. This thing is probably like 2 feet off the ground. I'm like, it's not that big, A. So like props to being balanced on it. B, you got on it on your first try. C, you're still standing on top of this. Like, what are you doing?
We had a train table.
Oh gosh.
In our living room that he used to walk around and they'd play with their toys on, and he finally figured out how to climb up on top of it. I think you were gone. You might have been out of town, or you were down.
I think I was in DC.
Yeah, you were somewhere else. But he climbed up on top of it and fell off of it, and I got a little upset and broke it in half. And
I'm done with this.
I can't, because I just figured if I had just moved it to a different room, you'd be like, oh well, we should still keep it. You would have figured out a way to convince me to keep the damn thing. So I broke it in half and threw it out on the porch. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Tell me you were gonna keep it now. No, he climbs so easy. Like, what was he trying to climb the other day? Oh, there was like a little box or something over by the chair by the couch, and he stood on that and started to try to climb up on the chair, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, Rhett does the same thing. He'll climb up on the boxes that are in the bottom on the floor in the pantry, try and climb up the racks to get to the top shelf where the baby foods are,
or where the muffins are.
I'm like, oh god, these kids are climbers. We need to put them in like a gym, like a
rock gym, yeah,
gym, and let them do some climbing.
Handle that energy.
But yeah, it's been It's been interesting the last couple of weeks with them. I mean, they're just changing. They're evolving every day. And every week their personalities are changing. Everything about them is changing. Their looks are changing. Like Rhett's hair is extremely long. He got called out like 3 times while I was at the store for being a girl. I'm like, he's not a girl, but okay.
Yeah, whatever.
So now you try and put his hair up in a bun. Like,
It's just a wild. He looks like a little gremlin.
he really does.
But it matches his personality.
A little gremlin personality.
He's got a little wild personality.
So yeah, it's been very nice having some extra help. And obviously, that old adage that it takes a village is so accurate. Like we can't say it enough. Moving here, we've had so much more support. Our support system's been so much stronger.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We also had some, I feel like yesterday, I call it emotional whiplash. So within like a 2-hour window, something bad happened with Brett and something good happened with Arlo.
Yeah, what happened with Brett? I can't even remember.
Crackers.
Oh, man. This kid, man, he was eating some like hardened cheese cracker type things. And you were gone.
I was out to dinner with the au pair.
Yeah, so he was in the living room, he was eating these crackers, and he began to choke on it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll probably clear it. Well, he didn't. And I had to go into savior mode and flip this kid completely upside down. So his head was facing the floor and, smack his back to try and get this thing out meanwhile he's like vomiting on my leg. And I bring him back up and he's like, still hasn't cleared it. He won't take a drink of water and it's like turning blue. I'm like, oh God. And so I do it again and he finally just gets it all out. And, man, it was just terrifying. He is the only kid, knock on wood. I don't have any wood, but, the only kid that we have issues with choking.
This is his 3rd time choking.
Seriously choking.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when he was a baby, it was my fault, but I mean, he was a newborn. What was he, 2 weeks old?
Yeah. Yeah. But like he's choked like 3 times where he's like started to turn blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm at dinner and you text and you're like, hey, not to like worry you or anything, but your middle child tried to unalive himself and choked pretty hard and turned blue. He's good now though. And I was like, what? But like watching the playback on it, because like we have cameras, watching the playback, like, it just gives me so much anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you were here for it and not me, because like,
I mean, we have the choker, which was going to be my next thing if I couldn't get it out the way I did it.
Yeah.
And I fully was aware of it. And even Enzo said something. He's like, hey, do we need the choker? I'm like, not yet. Boom, boom, boom.
But it's like, it happens so fast.
It does happen.
And like, you just have to be there. And it just always like reinstates how much like you can't take your eyes off kids for like a second.
Something as simple as chewing on a freaking cracker.
That he eats all the time.
Yeah, he eats it all the time, and he's never had an issue with it.
And he just, I don't know, spaced out and forgot to finish chewing before he tried to swallow it or what, but...
Yeah, I might have scared him a little bit, because he was turning on the lights, and he goes around and turns on every single light switch in the house, and it drives me insane. So I went and, like, shut off the lights after he shut it on. He came up running behind me, and I barked at him. It's 50-50, it's like my fault.
You just inhale it out of fear. Oh, Lord.
So it might have been my fault.
So we're going to do that again.
Lesson learned.
Don't scare your child while he has food.
Yeah. So, but we navigated and he's alive. Promising.
It reminds me of those like videos you see of kids choking, like for like infomercials for like learning Heimlich or like buying a choker. Like it was...
We have Jitoke. We have 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
We've been very fortunate. We haven't had to use them.
Yeah.
But we do have them. I know exactly where they are. If something were to happen.
Yeah.
So.
You didn't call 911 because you weren't at that point yet.
No, he rebounded. And then we put him to bed and he was good. And
2 hours later.
2 hours later, like Arlo started walking.
Like not just like a step. The dude walked like 7 steps.
And again, this is why we call it emotional whiplash, because it's like you
This is life with kids.
Yeah, I mean, this horrible thing happened, and you're riding like your adrenaline's up, and then all of a sudden this beautiful thing happens and you're just
Like, oh,
complete opposite, opposite of the spectrum.
yeah, like the fear and then like the like pride and love. Like, it's so. I was like, this is the epitome of parenting. Like this emotional whiplash of like 2 hours ago, one of them tried to unalive himself.
Right, you told me that in the beginning when we first started dating, because I didn't have kids. You did. You told me that it was
The extreme of all emotions.
extreme of all emotions, and it can happen all at once.
Yeah.
You can be so ecstatic and joyful, and then all of a sudden you're terrified, and then you're mad, and it's so true. Every day, I feel like I'm put in a situation where I go from being proud to pissed off to sad to weeping to just whatever the case may be. I'm just like, I don't know anymore, indifferent.
Oh, but it was so cute with Arlo.
Yeah, but he did start walking a little bit, so that was awesome to see.
Yeah. And again, like it wasn't like 1 step or 2 step. The dude was like, oh, I'm going to span this little like 6-foot gap from mom to dad real quick.
Yeah, I'll show him what's up. He's probably been able to do it all along. He just he wants to be the baby for longer.
He's definitely our latest walker for sure.
He's the latest everything.
We've never had one walk after the age of 1. They all walked early.
No, he's the latest at everything, I think.
Getting teeth, walking, all of it. But it was really cool. Like, and so he did that, like, I don't know, for like 35 minutes last night, just kept walking back and forth between us. Like, I got this, no worries.
Yeah, it's cool to watch them grow up.
But it like makes me so sad because I also know that means that like very soon the crawling will just be done with.
Yep.
Completely.
It's just gonna be walking.
Yeah. That's crazy to think about. Like, even like by this summer, he probably won't crawl at all anymore.
Yeah.
Goes so fast. To make you sad a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know.
You're excited for like the seasons as they grow older?
Yeah, I'm sure when I'm 50 and I look back on it and they're growing out of the house. Well, I don't even know. They wouldn't be growing out of the house, but 55, when they're growing out of the house, I'll probably be like, hey, like I'll miss aspects of the childhood. It's been great. We've been very fortunate because we've been present, right?
Yeah.
Able to be there every day. Even if I had to travel or something like that, but it's been, I've been there every day to watch them grow up. And so I've been very fortunate there. But I look forward to the seasons. I look forward to seeing them grow and become, little boys and teens and adults and move out so I can move to Barcelona.
I think it's going to be really cool. Like already, like they're just growing so much and it's interesting to see their personalities coming in and realizing like, in theory, we're done with the baby phase. And so now like we're moving into the next phase with our kids.
Does that mean I can finally get rid of all the baby toys? Because I'm so tired of baby toys.
We've been getting rid of them. Have you not noticed? I've been slowly getting rid of them. It's amazing.
All over the place. All they do is I put them in the little bin and they fucking dump them out on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to clean up after themselves, or they don't want to. And I mean, Rhett tries, but I'm over it.
Have you noticed that Rhett sings a lot now?
Yes, he does.
It's so cute.
I hope he doesn't. That's the one thing. I hope he doesn't lose his joy.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard because as you become, you go through your teens or your preteens and teens and become adults. You lose a lot of that joy.
Yeah.
And you want to protect them for as long as you can, and you want them to stay happy, but you know that you can't protect them from everything because there's just a lot of shit out there.
Yeah. It's cool to see, like, he's super into the ABC song, obviously, and then he's super into the Mommy Finger, Daddy Finger song. Mommy Finger, where are you? Here I am. He sings that one.
Oh.
And then he also sings the Monkeys Jumping on the Bed song.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because he, like, sings half of the lyrics, but not the other half, but he'll, like, stay on, like, rhythm with it. It's so cute. Mm-hmm. Well, we gotta finish up our date and our errands.
Yeah.
But
I get to do that.
Thanks everybody for listening. You can check us out at
freezermilk.com
or Instagram.
Freezer Milk Podcast.
Until next week, guys. Thanks.
Don't forget, parenting is a trip. We are all here on the journey with you together. Thanks so much for listening.